Hello and welcome to Culture Shock, the pop culture podcast brought to you by three aging millennials and our outdated opinions. I'm your host, Corey. With me today is...
Hello, I'm Mike, and you see, most places have mice or mosquitoes. We have dragons.
When it comes to live-action remakes of classic animated films, we are in no shortage of supply nowadays. But they are making more and more of them each year. So I've been trying to just go with it. Because in the words of the great Chief Stoic, it is a lot easier to be brave when you know you have no alternative. Due to there being a copyright claim on our music all of a sudden, lame, we have to go out and find a different song, lame. We may even have to pay somebody for it, lame. But until then, just enjoy the episode. And as always, thank you for listening.
Culture
Well,
shocked.
like Mike just said with that music, we both went and saw the new live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon. Mike's been waiting for me to see it for a week now. I finally got around to it. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the ins, the outs, the good, the bad. My first overall impression, is let's just get this out of the way now. Me and Mike are children at heart more than Adrian. So
yeah.
like we wanted Adrian to see this for a different perspective, but we knew me and Mike were going to go into this and probably like it. And that is my perspective, is that this movie was very good.
Yes.
It's endearing, and I'm going to get my controversial thing out at the top. I think I like this better than the original.
Yes, me too.
To me, if you do a live action movie great, like this one did, and I did have problems with how they did this remake. Not problems that made me dislike it at all, but there were problems. But when you do a live action remake like this and put all the heart and soul into it like the original had, that's how you do it. Disney needs to watch this movie and take notes, because what they've been doing lately is taking all these live action movies, making remakes, adding way too much to them or taking too much out. And where you would think making a movie... Oh, spoiler review, by the way. This is going to be a spoiler review.
Oh, yeah.
when you go and you remake a movie into live action and you make it, which this was, almost shot to shot, some people are going to be angry about that. And that's why I think this movie is not amazing. It's not revolutionary or groundbreaking, because it is just an adaptation of something we already had animated. But is it maybe the best of its kind remake of an animation? Probably. It probably is.
Well, there's a main reason for that. One of the things that since before the movie came out and since it's come out, I've watched a lot of interviews. I've watched a lot of different things, particularly with the director. I don't have his name on hand right now.
Dean DeBlois.
Thank you. With the director returning from the original animated series,
writer and director.
Writer and director. The dude's just one big nerd. I'm going to throw that out there first off, and and I don't say that in a derogatory sense. I mean, we're nerds.
No, I can't use that word derogatory if I try.
This dude, like, he loves what he does, and he actually is strongly against live action remakes of animated films.
Yeah, he actually said in an interview they're soulless and unnecessary.
So the only reason he agreed to do this was not like a cash grab kind of thing. It wasn't wasn't to milk the material. It was because he knew that eventually somebody was going to do it, and he didn't want them to fuck it up.
I'm pretty sure they told him, "You're our first choice, but regardless, we're making this."
Yeah.
And he decided to come in and put his heart and soul into it and take the blame or the praise either way it went. He would have rather been the one to do this and let it be where it was.
And I'm telling you, listening to him talk about a lot of the different things, like, for example, Toothless's live action design, they talked about making Toothless's eyes smaller to make him look a little bit more realistic. And he said, you can't do that. Toothless would lose who he is if he did that. They talked about making his mouth smaller. And he's like, you can't do that.
No, he had to have the big bubbly eyes for the heart and soul to come out.
So, I mean, to have the actual person who wrote and directed the originals to be there for the live action, I think helps this movie immensely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
People
for
don't
sure.
realize Dean. Did you say DeBlois?
Dean DeBlois. It's like a French
Dean
last
DeBlois.
name. I
He's
believe
French,
it's pronounced DeBlois.
People don't. I don't know if people are really familiar with this or not, but he's also responsible for Stitch.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
the same guy. He's the same guy responsible for the design and stuff of Stitch.
yeah,
Or no,
yeah.
the artist maybe.
Him and his partner that made How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
That guy's a little more responsible for Stitch, but he is part of it. So, and it's funny that both their movies are in theaters right now.
Right. And I don't know if Corey has. I've seen the live action Lilo and Stitch.
I have not yet.
It's not terrible. As far as Disney remakes go, it's probably their second best one.
Under what?
Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is probably that's the best. That's the best live action that Disney's done.
That's an example of Disney doing a remake and adding something, and it actually didn't take from it.
Right. There's people complain about the Lilo and Stitch thing that they do. I think it works in today's society because of like broken families and whatnot.
I mean, if you want to just say what it is, because I already know what the
right.
big
so
twist there at the end is.
Everybody's upset that Nani leaves and goes to college.
Yeah.
Anybody who starts bitching about it mostly is probably people who haven't seen it and have just heard that's what happens. If you actually watch the movie, unlike the animated film, we get to know the neighbors, the close neighbors to Lilo and Nani.
Okay.
And they're like family to them. And that's who Nani leaves Lilo with. And there's like a teleportation gun that she gets from the aliens that she can literally go and visit Lilo anytime she wants. So it's not like she abandoned her or let her go to like everybody on the internet makes it sound worse than it is.
Yeah.
Having watched the film, I'm like, this is acceptable. Is it not the same as what we got in the animated film? Of course it's not, but
didn't you kind of feel bad for the sister for having to shoulder all of that in the original? I mean, I did.
Yeah.
So really having her be adopted, quote unquote, by the neighbors, like adult neighbors who could take care of Lilo and actually be there for her.
Yep.
And maybe even have to take care of Stitch because he's a handful. But like, did you really want to shoulder it all on the sister again? Like, I've always felt bad for her watching that movie. Like, God, this would suck. That was one of my problems with the Minecraft movies. That kid who had to take care of her kid brother. Like, that's a lot, man.
Yeah.
And I know it happens, but
it does happen. But I think in today's society, more often than not,
there's help out there.
The older sibling's not going to do that.
Especially with this new generation.
That's what I'm speaking of. Like in today's society, what they did in Lilo Stitch remake made sense.
Yeah.
And if you actually watch the film, it doesn't ruin anything. It doesn't take away the whole Ohana means family, which going into the movie, because this is all I heard bitching about online before I saw it. Going into the movie, I'm like, oh great, I'm going to watch this fucking disaster, and it really wasn't bad. It's not like a great movie. I don't know if I'd go out of my way to watch it again, but it was okay. And it was, like I said, this is probably the second best live action remake that Disney's done.
Maybe when it comes to Disney Plus, we'll do a thing on it. Because I was going to see it, but there's too much coming out that I need to see. That Lilo and Stitch just kind of fell to the wayside.
I get it. It's okay.
This being one of them, and then two more things like 28 Days Later came out, and the new Mission Impossible came out. It all came out at the same time, and I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna be able to see all this."
I mean,
if we had our theater, I would. But
I know that's what I wish we had a theater because I've 100% have seen more movies this year, I think, than I have combined.
I think you have, years. I guarantee I would do a movie review every week if.
Oh yeah, me too.
Like as a separate episode, or even a TikTok. I would do one a week if we had a theater closer, but closest one to our house is 50 minutes away.
It sucks. This movie, I'm going to tell you, I agree, everything Corey said, I agree with. I also feel it's better than the animated, and I think a lot of that goes into actually being able to see the human emotion on their faces. The work they did was showing the human, like the emotions on Toothless's face. Like it was so well done. And I know that obviously some scenes were extended or they added some extra stuff
for a reason.
Because this film is 30 minutes longer than the animated film. Which I'm fine with. I could have sat through probably a 3-hour version of this movie. That's how much I enjoyed this movie.
Which when you when you think about the extended parts of things, like you watch that original movie, and first of all, the director and everybody involved had 18 months to put that movie together. It was very short timeline. They had to rush things. That's why some of it doesn't look real crisp in the original, but then the second one looks gorgeous. That's why they were rushed in that first movie, because it was a fully original product. They didn't know how it was going to go. They didn't give them very much of a timeline. So he was rushed. So in this one, he was able to actually take the emotion you're supposed to be feeling in scenes, extend them, give it an undertone score that makes you, really feel the conversation between Stoic and Hiccup when he's going to leave to try to find the nest again. And he's telling him, you're going to go to dragon training tomorrow. You're starting it. You're going to be what you wanted to be. First of all, I love the, you can go ahead and go first. You're going to start dragon training. Oh boy, I should have started. I don't want to do the dragon training. But then he talks him into it. But that scene is extended in the live action movie because you actually want to feel the father and son feeling behind it. But in the animated movie, it does what animated movies do, which is rush a scene along for comedic effect. They don't sit in moments in animated movies very often. A lot of times it tries to rush through the scene to get to the feely part and then go to the next scene. In a movie like this, where, if you ask my opinion, this movie could have started as a live action movie with the story it has. Like, with the technology we have now and with Game of Thrones revolutionizing people riding dragons the way it did, it gave this movie the legs to actually be what it should have been in 2010, which was people riding dragons live action, a real Scottish feeling area / Viking town. It felt more lived in this one than the cartoon did. Like, because the animated is good. It's heartfelt. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
The score, both John Powell did, the original and the remake, nailed it. But you feel it more in the live action for some reason. Like, I know that argument's not going to hold with people who are deeply in love with the original, and people are going to hate that take.
I'm deeply in love with the original, and I still love this more.
And I do too. But to me, this is the one they intended to make. This gave him more time. It let him pour emotion into it. I felt more in the original, there's this really beautiful scene right before he flies Toothless up to fight that dragon, where Stoic says, you don't have to do this. I'm proud of you either way. And it's a beautiful moment in the animated version. But looking down and seeing Gerard Butler teary-eyed saying, no matter what happens here, I'm proud of you, it hit me way harder. In this live action movie.
Well, yeah, I think Gerard Butler in the live action, and people don't. If anybody has never watched anything with Gerard Butler in it, he's a pretty good actor.
He is. He's just done a lot of movies where he's not. He doesn't show a lot of depth.
If you want to see, this is really girly of me. I don't give a shit. Probably his best. Well, probably his best performance, like acting wise, is probably P.S. I Love You, just from the emotional aspect of it.
It's a good movie. Personally, for me, Law Abiding Citizen is his best acting performance.
Why did I don't even think about that? It's really
But those are two opposite spectrums, though.
Yeah.
P.S. I Love You, he's playing a guy who is in love and gushing, and then in Law Abiding Citizen, he's an insane person.
You know what? That's actually the perfect. That's perfect though, because that gives you the range that he has.
Yes.
He's an amazing actor. So I think in the film, being able to do it live action for him and not being just a voice, you see more of the emotion.
Yeah.
You see, I think because of its live action, I feel like he was a little bit more of a dick to Hiccup, which it helped build to that moment that you talked about.
Yeah.
Like it helped that even more.
It was more of the kind of moment they intended in the animated movie.
Yeah.
But in the animated movie, Stoic came off more as just a side character who got pushed to the side. Like, oh yeah, he's just being a chief. And this one, you could tell he was being a chief and a dad and trying to protect Hiccup.
Yeah, it's holy shit. I don't know. This movie, there's a lot about it that I loved. I'm glad we kind of mentioned Stoic, because I would love that they brought Gerard Butler back.
Yeah.
They actually, I guess they approached him and asked him if he wanted to do it first.
Yeah.
Because spoiler for anybody, they're already making a second. They already greenlit the second one.
Yeah.
before this even came
out. Very excited to announce it.
Because they greenlit the second one, because the screen testings for this one did so damn well. Like there was not really, and I still haven't, aside from fans, and I put that in quotations because you know what, I'm gonna jump to that little bit of whatever the fuck controversy you want to call it in a second here after I say what I'm gonna say. I haven't really seen anything negative hit critic wise about this movie. But Dean DeBlois, I'm going to get it eventually before we're done with this episode. DeBlois? I don't fuck. Dubois? Yeah, maybe.
Just call him Dean Dubois.
Fucking French. Says our English language that you could fucking spell a word two different or the exact same way and be pronounced differently.
Yeah, English language sucks worse than any of them.
In the second film, the director, Dean, I'm just going to call him Dean, the director, has already said he wants Cate Blanchett to return to play Hiccup's mom for the second movie. I think between the three main animated films, I think the second one's got the most emotion to it.
Yeah,
so I'm not looking forward to tearing up in theaters for that one. But yeah, I know this. You can tell that director Dean really gives a shit about this franchise. Like this is basically his life's work at this point. What I loved is that Mason Thames. Did I say that right?
Mason Thames.
Thames,
whatever.
I would have said Thames, but I feel like that's probably wrong.
It's probably Thames, yeah.
So the Mason Thames who plays Hiccup, and Nico Parker who plays Astrid. That's going to be my little controversial thing I'm going to get to in a second. Both of them, the heart that they have and the love that they have for the original series is shown in how much they brought those characters to life.
Oh, he's shot for shot. The same / better Hiccup than Jay Baruchel was.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to give Jay Baruchel his flowers right now. His voice is like synonymous with the character.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love Jay Baruchel and everything I've seen him in, but
I mean, even Jay Baruchel, there's a video of Mason and Nico holding a phone, and it's a message from Jay Baruchel, congratulating them, and basically kind of passing the torch and excited to see their version of the film.
Yeah.
Dude, Jay Baruchel just reminds me of he's like one of the nerdy bros that's like just cool with everything.
From what I've gathered in Hollywood, he kind of is just that person.
So I'm going to get this out of the way because I guess it has to be talked about because it pisses me off. And no, for those listening, it doesn't piss me off in the way you think it does. Nico Parker was fucking phenomenal as Astrid.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The people bitching because she wasn't a white girl with blonde hair. One, you guys can just fuck off. I mean, seriously, fuck off.
Yeah, who cares?
This wasn't a situation. This is not a Snape situation where her character is so fucking critically and absolutely to the full extent described as being this white, gaunt character. No. There's no description of this character. The only thing we got is a cartoon. And it's not like it is a beloved classic at this point, but it's not like it's a beloved classic that goes all the way back to the fucking 1920s. No. Okay. Nobody's bitching this. This isn't the first time something like this has happened in any of film history. We didn't bitch about this kind of stuff when it happened in the late 90s or early 2000s.
I don't think.
And nine times out of 10, it turned out just fine.
Yeah, and can I please blow everybody's minds who's being so racist about this bullshit?
Oh, please.
Do you know who the voice of the original Astrid is? America Ferrera. She's a Spanish Mexican woman. Yeah. So the voice isn't even a white girl anyway. So shut the fuck up.
So fuck off. Nico Parker's amazing. I don't know who else would have auditioned for this role. I don't care at this point because she nailed it. And obviously director Dean thought the same thing. When you got a guy that's in charge of this project like he was,
this is his baby.
Yeah, I fully support.
It didn't matter what the fans thought Astrid should be.
No.
This is his fucking movie. The original was his fucking movie.
There's even people like, oh well, they could have at least dyed her hair, and I'm like, why? Why does that matter? I'm gonna tell you right now. There's people mad that there's not really any blonde people. They're Vikings. Who the fuck said the Vikings are blonde? Is that like a legitimate thing out there?
Yeah, in history they were pretty blonde, but who cares about it? Like, listen, they aren't traditional Vikings. He said that 7 generations in these mountains away from all the other Vikings, which means they've been breeding themselves in the sun.
Yeah.
That does change people, whether you like it or not. Genes plays so much of a role, but things do change.
At this point, anybody who's just begging for white people with blonde hair, I'm just going to start calling you Nazis. So thank you, Nazis. Anyway, moving on from that bullshit. Speaking of the other cast, I think these kids were amazing.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The guy that they got to play Snoutlout, Gabriel Howell.
Yeah, he's
just
really
as fucking annoying as the Snoutlout in the cartoon. You know,
just like as annoying.
Thinking he's the best.
Slash more cringy the way he's
which was what he was supposed to be.
Which is what he was supposed to be.
Yeah. Fish Legs fucking cracked me up. Julian Dennison, who, if you don't know, played Fire Fist in Deadpool 2.
Fire Fist, which was Christopher Mintz-Plasse in the original.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
But all these people are too old to be the kids now. So that's why these are all.
They weren't going to be able to do that. Wait,
and one of them is controversial in Hollywood now.
I thought Fish Legs was played by Jonah Hill.
No, that was Snoutlout. Jonah Hill was Snoutlout.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird. I expected. Sorry, Jonah Hill. I know you're not fat anymore. I just expected you to play a fat. Moving on. Rough Nut and Tough Nut were perfect. I don't know. Brownwyn James and Harry Trevaldwin. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know them.
I actually think I know those names, but yeah, they were really good.
If anybody knows this actor real well, like I do, for a second there, I thought Tough Nut, like, I kept thinking he was Thomas Middleditch, the actor from Silicon Valley, like the nervous energy actor.
Oh, yeah,
he's in all kinds of stuff. Like his face and voice were exactly him. And I was like, there's no fucking way this adult is playing this kid right now. So I kept having to pay attention. I was like, okay, it's not him, but he sounds and looks a lot like him.
Oh man. And then of course, to round out the main cast, Nick Frost is Gobber. I mean, come on. Nick Frost was amazing.
Yes.
I love Nick Frost.
Oh, everything he's in. I love Nick Frost. And that was actually the biggest surprise for me, is I didn't even know he was in the movie. The first time Hiccup walks into the blacksmith shop and the guy talks, I'm like, oh, that guy looks like Nick Frost. And then he turned around like, holy fuck, that is Nick Frost. I was so excited the rest of the movie to see him.
Instead of Craig Ferguson, we got Nick Frost.
Because to be honest with you, and everybody I think knows this, at least Adrian hates it, I'm not a huge Craig Ferguson fan. So Nick Frost was a huge upgrade for me, even though I love the original Gobber.
I can't imagine Craig Ferguson. Yeah, they had to get somebody.
Oh, no. Craig Ferguson was not going to do this.
Yeah, no.
But still, even to that extent, I think it was an upgrade. I think Nick Frost is a huge upgrade.
Yeah, he did great. Gerard Butler made a really amazing post about Nick Frost on his social, congratulating him on playing Gobber, and then, extremely excited to see him play Hagrid in the HBO Harry Potter series. So, this movie was almost shot for shot. Like, it is. I mean, they added some things, but this movie was 100% just a shot for shot remake.
They added things to make scenes deeper. They didn't add anything to change anything. They did take a couple little scenes out, like Hiccup being attacked by the little dragons on the beach after they crashed the first time. And they took out the hiding in the blacksmith shop from Astrid because she almost sees Toothless. So they did take a couple things out, but nothing real important, and it still somehow ended up being a half an hour longer because of the content, like adding for context and adding for depth.
I think the ending, that final battle, if you will, is I think that's longer in general, like with all the action sequences and that.
Because you can show more live action than animated. Like especially the style the first How to Train Your Dragon was in, while a beautiful animation, limited. The colors were limited. And like, there's only so much wow you can give with that kind of thing. But with CGI now where it is, and if you do it right, the absolute spectacle you can give us as fans in a live action movie, making it look like these real actors are jumping on these dragons and punching them in the eyeball and falling off the dragons like that. That for when he loses his cheat sheet and Toothless goes down and he like unleashes from the harness and he's falling. It looked so good. And when in the animated version, it looked cool. It didn't make me fear for Hiccup. In this one, I was like, holy fuck, dude. I've been on roller coasters. I know that feeling of dropping.
He's about to die. Except
he's not sitting in a cart. That motherfucker's gonna die. I felt it more.
All the flight stuff. The interaction between Hiccup and Toothless, especially the whole building up to them trusting each other, which is so beautifully done in the animated film. They did it somehow. There's more emotion again.
It's even better.
It's just so good. I almost puked, and so did Amber when we were watching the scene where Toothless makes him eat the fish.
Yeah.
Like in the animated version, no, it doesn't phase you. But
it doesn't show him bite into it. It just shows the side of the fish.
Yeah.
In this one, he literally eats out of the top of the head.
Oh, it's so gross.
Yeah. I was like, wow. But I love how they kind of did like when he bites into the fish in the animated one, he just holds it in his mouth, and then Toothless kind of does this little head jerk, like, eat the head, come on, swallow it. And in this one, like, you could tell he was telling him, dude, finish it.
Yeah.
And then he had to finish it. It was definitely grosser.
Oh yeah, it was definitely. Oh, I'm so glad they only showed us that once. We didn't have to see that more than once. But yeah, I don't know, that whole thing, and then Toothless doing like the drawing, and then him having to like kind of like weave his way through it.
I rewatched the animated one too, just to like, compare them.
Yeah.
And just I don't know how to explain it without pissing people off, that this live action remake just made me feel the movie more. Like when he picks up the stick and he's trying to draw with him, and then he growls when he steps on the crack. In the animated movie, that made me laugh. But in this one, I was like, these two are like best friends, dude. Yeah. And this movie is like, it's like all about how this kid is estranged from his whole village and his father, and he finds a quote unquote dog.
Yeah, basically.
That becomes his best friend and understands him and actually like is there for him when nobody else is. And through the dog, he changes the whole society around him, making people realize these dragons aren't evil. Just listen to me. And they all do, because Hiccup's different. So maybe somebody who's different actually knows what he's talking about. And they do eventually listen to him and realize dragons aren't bad. Well, not all dragons are bad.
Yeah, not all dragons. I mean, obviously, it's just like people. Not everybody's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
There's bad people.
I hate most people, but there are good ones out there.
Most people. Yeah, the scene where he gets caught by Astrid, and he has to basically convince her of what he already knows. Like that whole entire like that whole entire like sequence of events is just as amazing, if not better, also in the film. We're going to piss so many people off by saying this as many times as we have, but it is. This movie, for once, not only is this the best live action remake that's ever been made, it's better than the original.
I think so, yeah.
It's just, this is, as Corey said, this is how you do a live action.
It's the exact example. And for me, as hard as this is to say, it's neck and neck with Beauty and the Beast, because I love that remake.
Oh, it was so good. It was, but I still think that this is better.
To me, it's hard for me because I'm such a musical fan. That,
well, yeah.
And I'm not counting Wicked in this, because Wicked would be in the top 3 as well. That was a remake of a Broadway musical, so I'm not really counting that. I do love that reimagining. It's wonderful, and I can't wait for the next one. But taking that one out, because Wicked might even be top still, even over these two. That is a phenomenal musical.
I
love it so much. I've watched it multiple times since. Yeah, it's very good. But this and Beauty and the Beast are neck and neck. Like How to Train Your Dragon for me is more what I was always into, like dragons and mythical stuff and the barbarians and Vikings, and I loved that stuff. So when the original cartoon came out, it was endearing. I loved it. I was already an adult, but I watched it multiple times, and I blamed my kids. I'm like, they want to watch it. I don't think they even cared as much as I did, but
My kids are obsessed.
Mine are now, and the two younger for sure were. How to Train Your Dragon 1 and 2 was in constantly. When 3 came out, we took them to theaters, and it was a horrible experience. They weren't old enough for that yet. They were not ready.
Here's the story. So I was introduced to How to Train Your Dragon very late. I'm much like Corey. I am into, like, we all know I love dragons. We've talked about it a lot on this podcast. If there's not dragons in it, then it sucks. I love like medieval stuff. I love these fantasy worlds. But when this was coming out, much like Corey, I was an adult, and I'm like, at the time when it came out, I didn't have children, so it served no interest to me whatsoever. If there was an adult cartoon that came out, or not adult cartoon, if there was an adult, no, I'm saying that wrong again. If there was a children's cartoon that came out anytime between like 2006 until 2014. Well, you know what? I'll even say 2015, 16, because my kids weren't old enough yet to watch them. I didn't watch it. I had no desire to watch it because at that point, my mindset, unfortunately, was kind of similar to Adrian's. Is I'm an adult. Why the fuck would I watch that?
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I got with Amber that the boys even seen How to Train Your Dragon, and by at that point, all 3 movies were out, and these kids. They watched the first one without me because I was sick. I think I was not feeling good at all, and we were gonna watch it. And I remember I came home just miserably ill, that I was like bedridden because I'm a guy, and you know how guys get when we're sick.
Yeah, we're bitches.
So they watched it without me, and then I ended up watching the second one with them. So I saw the second one before I saw the first one.
The second one's also very good.
It is. It's my favorite one out of the 3. Fuck, we even have the Christmas special or whatever that was, where where Toothless comes back and finds Hiccup. But my boys are absolutely obsessed. Like they have so much How to Train Your Dragon merchandise now. And then when this live action was announced, like I told them about it, and of course I'm skeptical because it's a live action remake, and why? How dare you remake a classic such as How to Train Your Dragon? And then I saw the first trailer, and I'm the kind of person, I like to try to undersell things a lot for myself, because if I go into them expecting too much, they usually suck. Even if it could have been okay, I will still hate it because I thought it was going to be like this most amazing thing ever. I saw that first trailer and I could not downplay my excitement for it. It looked so fucking good. I was just, I immediately my skepticism went right out the window, and I was like, June cannot come fast enough. I want to see this movie now.
Yeah, I was starting to get to the point where I was like, God damn, I got to see this movie. And then I was going to see it that first weekend. I ended up being stuck at work a lot longer than I meant to. So I'm like, okay, we'll wait until this week. And then she got caught at work. And then the weekend came and we had the kids. I couldn't take them all. So I was like, I'll wait till this week to see it. And then I finally saw it earlier this week. One of the things I'm really happy that they didn't deviate from is the Hiccup losing a leg at the end of the movie. I thought I was
wondering how they're going to do that.
Part of me thought, because it's a live action remake and they want us to keep with this kid, Thames, they want us to keep loving him. Maybe they'll deviate from the leg, but you know what? I'm glad they didn't. They went the whole same route. They even gave Gobber the line after Stoic says, "Thank you for saving my son." He says, "Well, almost all of them." They even still gave him that line, and then he wakes up with that spring leg on, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, something I love that this movie did that the original didn't really do is it was Toothless coming and helping him walk out originally, like because that wasn't in the animated film.
The what?
Toothless helping him walk. Toothless helping him.
Oh
walk
yeah,
out
that was a
take
good
his
addition.
First couple steps. Well,
that was a good addition.
It's more symbolic to me too, because if you think about it, even though. And I thought for a minute, I can't remember. I thought they covered it in the films, but it's his fault. It's Hiccup's fault that Toothless is injured. Like if it wouldn't have been for Hiccup hitting Toothless with his contraptions that he has, like Toothless wouldn't have lost his back wing.
It was a good it was a good way for him to repay him, to help him. That was actually what I thought in the theater while I was watching it. Was that's kind of cute that he helped him refly, and now he's helping him rewalk.
Yep,
it was kind of cute.
Yeah, it's I mean, their relationship in the animated series is symbolic enough. This in something about a live action, I can't stress this enough with the emotion that can be provided with live action,
Yeah,
like actual like human faces.
because we
Is
are humans. We're live
yeah,
action humans. So we're always going to feel it harder when a live action human is having an
yeah.
emotional moment over a cartoon character.
It's
Now,
just
we
it's
can,
so
as somebody who's cried at multiple animated movies, I can attest that it is possible, it is done. But when you give me a beautiful live action movie that makes me tear up, that movie is better to me. I'm not disparaging what you can do animated and how amazing it can be. But to me, because it's more relatable to be a live action person, when that happens, that's why a lot of TV shows hit me harder than movies. Because I'm watching these live action people live their lives, and then when something bad happens, I feel it. But the only animated show I can even think of that ever made me cry was Futurama, and
oh
that
yeah,
two specific episodes: the Jurassic Bark with the dog, obviously everybody cries at that one, and then
yeah.
Luck of the Friarish when he finds out it wasn't his brother that stole the clover; it was actually his nephew
Oh
trying
yeah,
to
that's
live
so
his
good too.
spirit, which was a beautiful message. As it made Fry realize at the end, oh, my brother wasn't a dick; he actually did love me, and it was kind of a beautiful moment. That's the only time in an animated thing TV show that I've ever seriously teared up. But multiple live action shows have done it, and I think, me personally, live action just hits me harder. I know that's not the case for everybody, and I acknowledge that, and it's totally fine. But I think this live action movie just made me feel the whole movie way more, and I can't wait for a second one.
I yeah, no, like I kind of had the same sentiment as my boys did when we walked out. They're like, I already want to see the second one. I was like, trust me, me too. Like, I just, it was amazing. I did like the, I didn't know she actually had a name. I guess it's Gothy, the
Yeah, the
the
like
the
witch lady who kept
yeah, the witch
track, and
lady.
yeah,
Yep. Yeah, her. Couldn't think of her. There's an actual name for it, but I can't think of the name right now. Um, Witch doctor, I guess.
soothsayer, witch
Yeah,
doctor, yeah.
she like seeing her reactions, like when Hiccup was starting to do things. Like it, I felt when she was doing them, she knew what was going on. Like just like the look on her face, and it was almost like she was like, hmm. She like could sense things were changing. I could be wrong. I could be just reading into that too much, but it was just I don't
No, you're
know.
right. She definitely, in the animated movie, she had very little to do. There was nothing to her.
Right.
In this one, they actually gave her a, like, when Stoic looks at her, or not Stoic, when Gobber's looking at her with the finger over Astrid, and she shakes her head no. Like in the animated movie, I didn't care about that character, but in this, I was like, oh, she's
Yeah.
judging it. She's saying it's Hiccup. So yeah, to an extent, that character was bigger in this movie. Not much. I mean, there wasn't a lot to her, but even the moment where they're trying to decide if they're going for the nest again, that lady had
Yeah.
nothing to do with that scene in the animated movie.
Yep.
That was just Stoic pumping them all up, and then there's a joke at the end. Well, whoever stays has to take care of Hiccup, and then they all volunteer. But in this movie, which is funny, hilarious, but in this movie, he has an actual conversation with leaders of his tribes about going to do this and why it's a sacrifice they have to make, because it's an occupational hazard, he says, as a Viking. Like,
Yeah.
it's real. Like, he's having a real meeting with these people. It's not just nameless, faceless characters that are shying away when he says who wants to go do this. And then he talks to the soothsayer and he says, hey, tell us do we have a chance of finding the nest? And she pours out the bones and does her magic over them and just shakes her head yes. Which, honestly, because I saw the animated before I went and saw this, I thought there was going to be a joke there where everybody walks out of the room and then she looks at him and goes, actually, there's no chance. Like, I thought it was going to be like a joke there, but there wasn't.
Yeah.
And that kind of made me happy there wasn't a joke.
Yeah.
It just went straight into the telling Gobber that he was staying to train and to put Hiccup in it. But and they even did like shot for shot of that where Stoic saying, when I was a kid, and Gobber's like, oh, here we go.
Wasn't it? It was Gobber that convinced Stoic to have his.
I guess it was
right?
kind of the other way around, but Stoic did.
I think Stoic was kind of like, I don't know if like
he didn't believe in him.
Well,
he didn't think he could. Obviously,
well, he can't.
He shouldn't have, because he's not that kind of Viking. Even though when he comes back from the not finding the nest and finds out that Hiccup is actually like really popular now because he's been doing really good in the training. He's so fucking shocked and goes and I love the breastplate helmet scene. He's like, "Thank you for my breast hat." It's made from the breastplate of your mother. He's like, "Oh, okay." He puts it down, stops touching it. He goes, "I have a matching one on my head." Thanks for stopping. Thanks for the breast hat.
Yeah.
So there are a couple endearing jokes in this movie, but for the most part, this was played a little more serious than the animated one was.
This is another thing I wanted to kind of say about this movie, and this is what I was trying to convince Adrian of, because I fully believe, like, because when I was trying to convince him of it, like, I hadn't seen the movie yet, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I was just assuming this is how it was going to be. But with it being live action, I was like, this is going to be less of a kids movie than like the animated version was. And I it's still a kids movie, like, because you got these young ragtag group of kids trying to like go through these trials.
It's about kids.
Yeah, it is a coming of age kind of story, but at the same time, and this also could just be because, you know, we're adults who have seen this film with our children or have not with our children, and love these films, that I would not fault any adult for going to see this by themselves, because I truly believe that this film is going to be up there for movie of the year, with how fucking good and beautiful it is. They chose the right place to film this film. Beautiful scenery. The CGI for all the dragons was amazing. I know some people had some complaints about what the hell is that one dragon? The one that shoots fireballs out of its mouth and it's only got like 5 of them. The big fat one that flies.
It's 6.
Oh, 6. Oh, sorry.
Because the first Snotlout says 5, and then he says, "Oh, it's 6." Fish legs.
Fish legs. Fish legs is his whole thing with like
the facts,
knowing everything about that was not. I don't think I don't remember that being in the film or in the animated film. Was it?
It was.
Was he that obnoxious with it too?
Yeah. He even gets yelled at before he unleashes the first dragon.
All right.
Yeah, that was almost shot for shot. The facts he was given.
I couldn't remember that. It's been a minute since I've seen the animated one. The
boys
watched it before.
There's even a scene in both where when the dragon is flying around attacking them, he goes, "I need +5 shield" or something like that. Like he yells out.
Yeah, Julian Dennison is I found him a lot more endearing and enjoyable in this film than I did in Deadpool 2. He was kind of annoying in Deadpool 2.
I like him in that, but I get where you
do, but
I honestly get it.
I appreciate his character more in this.
It was like when you see a little kid trying to be cool, how cringy it is.
Yeah.
It felt like he was a little kid trying to be cool. So I get where people don't love this character in Deadpool 2, because he's overdoing it. But to me, it worked. But yeah, I get it. Him as an actor, he's been good so far. I don't know if did you end up seeing Y2K, that horror movie?
I did not, but I heard it's good.
He's good in it. He's really good in it. It's basically super bad with the alien elements and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Alien-ish elements. Yeah, it's decent. It's not bad.
I wonder why they didn't bring him back for Deadpool 3 for like just that little room of people.
They might bring him back for something else.
I mean, he's Fire Fist.
I don't know. They didn't bring back a couple people I was wondering about. But, you know, whatever. They have more time. There will be plenty more stuff.
Oh, yeah.
On that vein, Sony just announced they're probably fully canceling everything, but probably not selling Spider-Man back to Disney, which pisses me off.
If you think about it, well, hold on. There's good and bad to that.
Is there?
The good is that they can still continue to make the Spider-Man games for PlayStation.
They don't have to give up the games, though.
Well,
those are all separate entities. You can sell back. Yes, you can sell back live action versions of stuff and keep the animated versions of stuff.
But
that's why Marvel bought the comic versions of Alien and Predator, but they can't put them in movies.
Right. Okay.
They're separate things.
Well, that's why, I don't know if you notice, but there's going to be a cross-universal comic book happening between Deadpool and Batman. Yeah,
they're gonna toy with DC and Marvel again and see if it works.
Because they're doing two comic books. There's one's gonna be called Batman and Deadpool, and then that's gonna be the DC's version. DC's gonna write one and Marvel's gonna write one. Marvel's is gonna be Deadpool and Batman, but they're gonna be connected. So that'll be interesting to see.
They've
two characters are going to be really weird to put together.
Listen, they've already done Batman and Ninja Turtles.
I know.
So that kind of humor with Batman does work.
It's going to be.
You can make Batman dark and have him around swearing, so it won't affect anything.
That's true. It's going to be like one of those. It's basically like Batman's going to have to team up with a not so psychotic version of the Joker.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it. I'll be interested in that. That's for sure. We'll see what happens. But James Gunn has said what you said. He says that he believes that there will be a time in the future where you might be able to see those characters in the same film.
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool, but I'm not holding my breath on that one.
I mean, I don't think it's a wise idea because nothing against Marvel. Marvel has really great stories, but most of DC characters are way overpowered compared to the Marvel characters. I just there's definitely some really powerful Marvel characters, but
all right, that's a different discussion because I don't agree with that sentence.
That is an entirely different discussion. Anywho, yeah, I don't know. I just
so How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon. This fucking film is just great. We didn't even really talk about the final scene, like the final fight and everything.
That's a video game.
Yeah, final fight. When like I love the moment between Toothless and Stoic when Stoic actually does go down and saves him in the water.
Yeah.
You know, you could tell Toothless is like, get the fuck away from me. But then he sees that he's helping him and he's like, oh, where is this coming from? And then Toothless ends up pulling him out of the water with him.
Yeah. Grabs him and pulls him out. Yeah. And drops him off. It was a beautiful, again, a moment I felt way more in the live action.
Yeah.
Especially I love the way they handled it with Hiccup kind of coming to and seeing the shadow of his dad turn around and jump back in the water.
Yeah.
I was like, there it is. It's beautiful.
I thought they were changing stuff for a second. Yeah. Like when he brought him out, I was like, oh my God, is he not going to go back in for Toothless? Are you fucking kidding me?
No, but when he turned around and jumped back in the water, I was like, there it is. There was a couple times in theaters, like there were kids in the theater I was in and I had to look around and be like, can I wipe my eyes? Are they going to look at me? That guy's crying. No, it was a beautiful movie, and I love how they all came together at the end and fought that big dragon like all together, like they did in the animated movie. But it was a little more real and lived in, and I felt it a lot more. Like it was more risky and dangerous, and I don't know. To me, that feels more real than an animated version. Like again, the animation of the original How to Train Your Dragon isn't dark enough for what you need it to be. It was a beautiful movie, but it was too bright and colorful. And the stakes were way higher in the live action.
Yes, I would agree to that for 100%. I mean, I know I spoke about appearances not really being important, but god damn, did they make Mason look almost exactly like Hiccup from the animated series?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, at first I was missing Jay Baruchel's voice. I'm like, yeah, that kind of sucks that it's not him. Like, but it didn't even take 10 minutes into that movie. I'm like, this kid's making me completely forget Jay Baruchel's voice was even a part of this. Well, like, he's doing so good that not forgetting, that's not the right word because I love the original still and I'll watch it and not judge it. But he was so good, it made me completely forget that I was missing that voice. That's what I'm saying. He actually made me believe the character was a different, like, new, fresh take on it.
Honestly, there were moments I thought Jay Baruchel has a very, very distinct voice.
Yeah.
There were moments where I thought he kind of sounded like him.
A little bit, yeah. He did the nervous energy real well.
Really well. Of course, I loved that he called him Bud because that's like a big fucking thing. Like that's his name for him. You know, come on, Bud.
Yeah.
Like, like they did so fucking well. I cannot sing the praises of this movie enough. You said there's some things that bothered you about it.
Now, well, okay, yeah, I will get into that because that was the last thing I was going to say was the only thing that bothers me is how shot to shot it is. It didn't take any risks. It didn't really, it wasn't ambitious. This is not an ambitious film. They took everything from the cartoon and they just made it live action. So it's kind of just a port. It's like updating a game, like remastering a game and not changing anything. So to a point, this wasn't a ambitious movie. Is it still amazing and beautiful and I'll see it many, many more times? Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Oh, I'll definitely watch it again.
Am I going to go to people and be like, oh, they took so many chances with this movie. No, they didn't. All they did was update the feel, the look. They made Toothless look a little different, but in my opinion, better. Like you can actually see the scales now, and his eyes look more realistic, and
that is what
the
they
teeth
talked
coming
about.
out look real, and like so all of it was better.
They tried. The director did say, like, when they were talking about changing Toothless's appearance, because they were like, how do we make him look realistic without taking away
what he
who he is?
Like his because they based him kind of around like a dog or a dolphin or something. Like actually his voice in the movies is a mixture of elephant, tiger, and dolphin clicks.
Oh,
it's like a mixture of real animals and then some human hums and hoes and stuff through there.
So I'm looking at the live action picture of Hiccup putting his hand up to Toothless's head and seeing the scales. That's the thing that they said. They're like, so the only thing we really could do was make the scales look more like like lizard scales, like make them look really like prominent.
He was in the original. He was they said he was part Black Panther, part salamander.
Yeah,
and that's why he was always so wet and slimy. But in this one,
he looked really sleek.
In this one, they wanted to go a little more of the route of him being more cat or dog like. So they made the scales more prominent, like a dog's fur would be, but they kept the salamander kind of feel to him.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it translated very well. Which everything in this movie translated well, which is what I'm saying. Like, it's hard to explain how I feel about it because I love this movie. That's not going to change. My opinion there is not going to change. Am I a little bit let down that they just did a shot-for-shot remake? Nope.
Yeah,
again,
I'm not either.
Nope. I'm not let down at all.
In
but
fact,
is it slightly lazy? Yes, slightly lazy.
See,
but
you're saying
I
lazy,
like what he did.
I think if anybody else had come in here and done this, you would have got different stuff. You probably would have got a lot more different stuff, and it would have been shit that pissed everybody off.
Yes.
So I believe, and this is going to sound weird, like you're talking about not taking a risk and everything, but how many times has that risk paid off for anybody that has tried it?
But who would have been better to come in, make this movie, and take a risk than the guy who did the original?
I don't necessarily think it's lazy as per he just wanted to preserve.
Well, I think you're looking
at
you're looking at the word lazy wrong. I'm saying he came in here and just took his script and then said, "Here, handed it to new people."
Well,
there was not a lot changed.
He did it. I mean, he added some stuff that, like you said, brought a better element to the film.
And those things are beautiful.
So perhaps maybe those were the only changes that happened. And like you said, and maybe they did record some of that stuff that they did cut out. Maybe this movie would have been like a 3-hour long movie if they had left everything in. Like I said, I would have watched a 3-hour long movie. Hopefully there's a fucking director's cut. Please.
With a huge CGI movie like that, it's unlikable. Unlikely.
Thank you. You just brought something up. I wanted to mention this. We did not mention it at all. This is not really heard of very often, but this movie's budget was actually lower than the animated version's budget.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep, it was about, I think it was a 10 or 20 million less, or 20, whatever. Hold on, let me look this up real fast because I do.
Well, while he's looking that up, I will say, as of today, June 30th, this movie has made $440 million.
Okay, so the budget for the original was 165 million. The budget for the live action was 150, so 15 million less.
Okay.
Which is crazy.
The remake is 150 million, you said?
150 million for the remake, and it's
made 440, so it's definitely made its money back and some profit, so that's good. It's not done. It's only been in theaters for a week and a half, so
I'll even go further here.
2 weeks.
Rotten Tomatoes. Well, I'll do Rotten Tomatoes in a second because I got to bring it up. But How to Train Your Dragon on IMDb is an 8.1.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really high score on IMDb. I think it's very deserving. I personally would give it a 9 if it were me, but I love it that much.
Rotten Tomatoes, the critics and the fans are a little divided, but it's certified fresh in both. The critics have it at a 77, and fans have it at a 97.
Yeah, so it's crazy how toxic the internet can be, because with the critic or with the audience score being a 97, and the amount of people I've seen bitching about how Astrid isn't, white and blonde and da 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 da, it goes to show you that I'm literally seeing a minority of people bitching about this film.
You said minority.
I did. I mean, they're in a minority when it comes to this film. Like anybody bitching about this film, you're alone. Like there's very few of you. Maybe you guys should go make your own little Reddit and cry together, because these aren't going anywhere. In fact, we're going to get at least one more. We're probably going to get all three.
You may not be alone in bitching about that, but you should be alone, because fuck you.
Yeah, this is not a case where I give a shit about I don't stray away from shit like this. Like, I'm extremely 100% upset with the casting of Severus Snape in the HBO series. Not because I have anything against, a person of color. It's because of how perfectly described that character is in the books. And the studio, before they ever cast anybody, said they were going to make this a fucking book accurate series. And one of the first decisions they make is completely not book accurate. Yeah. So that's where my disdain for that choice is coming from. If they hadn't come out and said we're going to be book accurate, I probably wouldn't care nearly as much. I'd probably still be upset, but not like to the degree that I am.
Yeah.
In this situation, I don't give a fuck.
No,
she's amazing. Like I said, cartoon character. Okay, that's all we have. There's actually, did you know there's books for these, that How to Train Your Dragon series? Yeah. She's not even a character in the books. She was created for the film.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like, so there's not anything describing her.
There wasn't a love interest in the original book?
I don't know. From what I gathered with my research, is that a lot of these characters that were made for this film didn't exist.
Wow.
Like, I don't even know.
Interesting. It is a lot of characters for a book.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. How to Train Your Dragon book characters. Let's see here. The book characters are Toothless, Hiccup, Horrendous Haddock III is his name. Fishlegs, Horror Cow, and Windwalker. That's really all that's coming up. So they didn't really have a lot of characters.
That's interesting.
Here, Astrid does not appear in the original series, but is said to be based on the character Kamikaze from the books.
Kamikaze?
So, Kamikaze. It's Camicazi. So I would read that as Kamikaze.
Yeah, that does seem like that's a weird name.
Yeah. Well, so is Fishlegs and Hiccup. So snout.
Yeah, but kamikaze means to drive your plane into a building and kill it.
Well, I mean,
fish legs just means you got some fish legs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you got some tough nuts. You know what I'm saying?
What about and some tough nuts and some rough nuts? It's a terrible name for a girl.
It is. Either one of those is bad for a girl.
Yeah. I don't know which one. I don't know which one's the girl name.
Rough Nuts the girl.
Rough Nuts the girl.
Played by Kristen Wiig in the original.
Yep,
and
Kristen Wiig in the original.
And TJ Miller.
Oh, you said it. You said it.
Listen, I'm going to say in TJ Miller's defense, everything that he was accused of has been kind of found not true.
That doesn't shock me. I think
like
he's
the girl who was
people.
accusing him of harassing him.
Yeah.
His wife, TJ Miller's wife, came out and said she's been harassing them for years, trying to get him in trouble. So I don't think what he did was even that big of a deal. But in TJ Miller's case, he had all kinds of brain problems, and he had a brain bleed and almost died and had to have surgery on his brain, and he got real weird after it. So did he send something weird because his brain wasn't working right? Maybe. I don't know. But I don't think TJ Miller overall is that bad of a person. He's just a strange, eccentric dude.
Yeah, it just
if
sucks
I'm wrong, I apologize, but I don't think he's that bad.
I did miss him being in. I mean, he wouldn't have had a major role regardless, but I did miss him not being in Deadpool 3 for like a one little scene where he could have been like
all he had to do is
like just shooting the shit with him and Wolverine.
All he had to do is come in and do one of his little quip spiels.
But TJ Miller absolutely fucking hates Ryan Reynolds now, so that's never going to happen.
Probably because he cut him out as soon as all that stuff happened.
Well, I mean, you know, you gotta, there's an integrity involved that you gotta try to uphold. And it definitely sucks for those who are fucked by society when it comes to situations like that.
For those about to rock, we salute you.
For those about to rock, we salute you. Yeah. I would love to say that I've said everything that I want to say about this film. I probably missed a lot of things that I wanted to say.
I think I got everything off my chest that I wanted to say about it.
I can't think of them. I do want to say I'm extremely looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
I do hope that he can get Kate Blanchett to return as Hiccup's mom. I'm not looking forward to Stoic's death.
Shh, spoiler.
Come on. If anybody's
Nobody knew that.
Nobody knew that. No, you're right. My bad. My B.
It is your B.
If anybody's seen the original animated films, you know that Stoic dies. But it'll be interesting to see these characters grow too, because Nico and Mason are pretty young, and they're gonna have to grow up into these. They're gonna have to kind of fit into these more adult roles when they get older, and Hiccup eventually becomes chief. And
he was a full adult by the third movie.
Yeah,
with a beard.
With a beard. So. Yeah, so they better give Mason a beard. To be fair, they gave Gerard a fake beard.
It was beautiful and glorious.
It was beautiful.
To be fair, these kind of movies do usually take a few years to make, and DreamWorks isn't Disney, so they're not going to pump it out next year.
Oh no!
So I hope. I think it's said on there 2027 for the second one. Minimum.
I'm okay with that. That makes sense.
That's at least a couple years to give him the maturity to have his dad die on camera and react to it as a kind of adult. And then wait a couple more years and have him be the adult in the third one. Yeah, that would all work out.
So, last thing I will say that is related to this movie and the animated series, they just opened up a theme park down in Universal Studios.
Yeah,
called Epic Universe, and it is 7 rides that are all dedicated to How to Train Your Dragon. The whole park is How to Train Your Dragon related, and one of the many videos I've been watching since I've seen this movie is they invited the cast from the live action down to
as they should
be in the park, and there's so many cool things there. There's like a live animatronic version of Toothless that looks fucking phenomenal. They got They got people there that are actually playing Hiccup and Astrid, like to talk with everyone.
Yep.
Director Dean Dubois. Oh my God, I think I said it right.
I think so.
He walked in and he's like, "This is how you know that something I created is turned into this."
It's probably a great feeling.
Yeah,
to see that many people give a shit about that property. Yeah,
he called himself a nerd when he was talking about it. He's like, me and a couple nerds were in a room, just writing some stuff up, and this is what it has turned into. And
they were probably just like D&D nerds that liked Vikings and wanted to make a movie about dragons.
So next year, we're going to be going on vacation. We're going to be going down to Florida. We're going to check it out.
Well, have fun with that.
Hey, it's better to do it the following year after it's been open for a year and not go like as soon as it opens because there's going to be so many fucking technical difficulties.
I had a friend go to Galaxy's Edge when they opened it, the Star Wars world. He said he got into maybe 2 things the whole time he was there. It kind of sucked, but
yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
But I told her, I was like, we're going to Virginia Beach in August. And I was like, honestly, they announced the opening of this theme park shortly after the movie came out. Like, it just opened.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of test rides and stuff 2 months ago.
I'm just, it's going to be awesome. There'll be lots of pictures for sure. I'll have a picture of me beside Toothless.
Let's do that.
Corey, you're invited. You can come. Leave your family home.
Nope. Oh, leave them? Yes, I'm leaving them. I thought you said bring them. Nope, not happening.
No, leave them. It'll just, you know what? Fuck it. It'll be just me and you.
And then for Christmas, I'll frame pictures of me with Toothless and give it to all my kids.
Fucking love it.
Well, I think that's pretty much all we're going to say about this movie. I think it's safe to say we loved it.
Yes.
I can't wait for a second one.
Yeah.
I'll probably see this one a few more times. I might even see it again in theaters before it leaves. But I don't know. There's a lot out right now I need to see. And July is coming up. There's a bunch of stuff in July. So
there's at least 2 things in July that I have to see. So
yeah, for sure. There's a few things.
Speaking of one of those things, I just want to kind of touch it. Well, first and foremost, we apologize for our lack of content as of late. Adult life has kind of gotten in the way for all 3 of us in one way or another. And it got difficult there for a hot minute for us to get all 3 of us together. As you can see, it's just me and Corey. So not to point names out or anything, Adrian's adult life has definitely become the busiest of the 3 of us, and we have kids, so I don't know how that happened.
He did the normal single guy thing of taking on multiple jobs that take his whole days away.
So we're working on that, but we are going to make sure that we have content for you. So Corey and I, thankfully he got to watch this movie because I've been wanting to talk about this movie since I saw it the Saturday after it came out. Can't Came out the 13th. I went and saw it on the 15th.
I was going to, couldn't.
It was, oh no, wait. The 15th, no. It came out the 13th, which technically is a Friday. I guess they had their, Thursday night openings, because that's why I said the 13th. It came out on, or no.
Worldwide, it came out the 15th.
Worldwide, it came out on the 13th on Friday. I saw it Saturday night on the 14th for like Father's Day / my birthday, because my birthday was the 16th. Yeah, that's right. Send me stuff, guys. Sign up to our Patreon. How about that? That's a great birthday gift.
Do it.
But I've been wanting to talk about this movie now for 2 weeks, and I was so glad Corey got to see it, because now we were able to get together for something just the two of us could talk about. Moving forward, unfortunately, I think it's going to come to a point, because we would love to keep providing you guys with content, that we might just have to start moving through our episode lineups that we've been wanting to do stuff with, and we might have to do them without Adrian if he can't make it. That'll suck, because we love having Adrian here with us. The dynamic, I think, with the three of us is amazing.
Yeah. And he will be here for stuff.
He's not
being cut down or
anything.
He's not.
This is him. We're not doing anything. So if he can be here, he will be here. We want him here. So we're just going to figure out some stuff that maybe Mike and I could talk about that Adrian don't care about. I'm working on a couple more of my killer corners, so I have a couple of those in the works. Yeah, I'll fucking join you, so you can have somebody to bounce off of for those too.
I'm trying to decide if I like that format more than just me doing it. I don't know. I might try one with you.
Oh, you could put creepy music in the background if it's just you.
I do.
Oh, it shows you I don't listen to him.
Thanks for listening, Mike.
But yeah, basically what I'm saying is we want Adrian here, but the show must go on, so we will to provide you guys with content.
Fuck that
we will continue to do stuff. That's really all I have to say about that, other than I'm super excited and looking forward to seeing Superman, and when it comes out July 11th. I think that's going to be the next big one that the three of us will be here for together. And
the 25th Fantastic Four comes out.
And then the 25th Fantastic Four comes out. Super stoked for that too. It actually looks decent. I hope it's... I thought Thunderbolts was going to kind of be a letdown until I saw enough trailers for it. So I'm kind of hoping that Fantastic Four at least is about on the same level.
Yeah.
If not, I'm going to probably hate it.
I'm sure I won't.
I have become skeptical of Marvel myself as of late because of, things have been up and down with them. But I'm hoping that the Thunderbolts movie was a return to form, that they see how successful that was, and they're going to be like, oh, okay. So we shall see. Other than that, I don't have anything else to provide other than, hey, go check out Adrian's stupid YouTube channel. That's Baker Reviews. YouTube.com/Baker Reviews. Yeah, do that.
Baker Reviews.
That's so weird hearing you do that.
So weird doing it.
I would, however, like to ask that you come find us wherever you get your podcast, rate us 5 stars. It helps out the algorithm a lot, helps get us out there more. If you enjoy what we do, maybe somebody else will enjoy what we do. So you rating us 5 stars would help make that happen. And if you would like to, support us some other way, come over to patreon.com/Culture Shock Podcast. For as little as $1 a month, you can, help us keep the lights on over here. Help us continue to give you this beautiful content that we told you we promised we're going to make sure you get from now on. Fucking Adrian. For the $5 tier, you can get to vote on a monthly poll, decide what we talk about, bad movie or otherwise. You get access to the members only Discord, which is great. We do still talk in there, even when we weren't releasing content. We were talking in there, so don't think that we weren't here. We were. If you're a patron, you'd know that. Yeah, and you know what? Also, at being a patron with the $5 tier, being in that room, you get more updates on stuff like this, so you will know what's going on and why maybe we didn't release something right away. Maybe we should be more forthcoming on our socials with that stuff, but you know what? We'll work on that. But I would like to thank our current loyal patrons, and that is Cam Solly, Bobby Jean, Squiggums, Ambi, Josie, and hey, shout out to our new Patreon, Steve. Fucking Steve. And not to mention the one and only Tickup. Tickup? Toic?
Tim Cup?
Tim Cup. 2 girls, 1 cup? Oh, wait, no.
I was going Tin Cup, that golf movie from the 90s. You went a different direction.
Anyway, where else on the socials can they find us, Corey?
On Facebook, it's Culture Shock Podcast. On Instagram, it's Culture Shock 21. On TikTok, it's CS Podcast 21. And on Twitter, X, where I spend not as much of my time nowadays. I spend actually most of my time on TikTok nowadays, but it's also CS Podcast 21. Come follow us on all those, please. It gets us out there. It lets us know that you're listening. Come on to Twitter, though, and let us know if you saw this movie, how you feel about it. Does it piss you off that they remade it? Or are you as happy as I am that it translated so beautifully? Like, that was what I was worried about, is that it wouldn't translate this well.
Yeah.
But it did. So let me know what you think.
I don't care if it pissed you off. But
I don't
let us know anyway.
I do want to know your reasoning, though. I would like to hear your reasons.
If your reason is anything other than Astrid isn't white or blonde, I am interested to know why.
If that's your comment, fuck off.
Yeah, if that's your comment, I don't care.
Not going to delete it because I want people to see your stupid face, but
Nazis.
I'm not going to answer you either. That's right, your Nazi ass face.
Heard it here first. Anybody who doesn't like Astrid as in the new live action is a Nazi.
That's how I would take it. As a matter of fact, from now on, if anybody says they didn't like it, I'm just going to call them a Nazi and walk away.
Yep. Go with that.
But don't comment that. I'm not going to call you a Nazi online. So
I will.
All right, I have to take the passwords from Mike. Anyway, that's going to do it from all of us here at Culture Shock. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for nothing, you useless reptile.
Oh, right. I think that was right. I don't know.